ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. All right, so who's going to go in now to read from the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is coming up on a screen close to you?
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Chapter 8,
Mataji,
Mataji?
today is the last day for reading. So, if you allow me, I want to read the whole Sanskrit. If I'm wrong anywhere, at least you can guide me, Mataji. If you allow.
Well, I'll have to ask them.
Welcome.
I'll have to ask the students if they want to do that. Then I'm game.
I said welcome.
No. In the order, Mataji will read. Start with Mataji only.
Oh, you're
But
saying
I
everybody
just
reads,
was
everybody reads
requesting
Sanskrit?
after.
She wants to read Sanskrit.
Oh, whoever wants to read Sanskrit. Oh, fantastic. Yes. Why not? Yeah. Okay. I thought you wanted to read the whole chapter of Sanskrit. All right.
Mataji, chapter 8 or 14?
Oh,
You've done the Bhagavatam.
yeah, just the wrong tab there. Okay, so let's just do this here. I'm going to go to the advanced view where you can choose what you want to see. So the Devanagari and the verse text. I'm going to remove everything else, and then that will show up the Sanskrit here, and then the English. And I should also show up. Actually, I don't need the Devanagari. I actually need the text here. So verse text, and then where is the translation here, like that? Okay. All right. So you can choose. You all can choose whatever you want to read, but one of them, one of the two.
So what do you want? You want me to read the translation?
Whatever comes to your heart.
I can read the text, sloka also. What do you want me to read, Mataji?
I want you to do what your heart wants to do.
Vindhyavali Mataji, you can read either Sanskrit or English. It's up to you. 2 texts.
2 texts. Okay. I'll read the English if you don't mind. Okay. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, again, I shall declare to you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Text 3. Mama yonir Brahma tasmin garbham dadami aham sambhava sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. Text 4. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti yaha tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradaha pitaha.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Sattvam rajasatam iti guna prakriti sambhava nibdhananti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakasham ananmayam sukha sangena Bandhanati Jnana Sangena. Mataji, it should be pronounced as Janadha or Ja Anagha.
Chanaga.
While you're singing it in a meter, if you are feeling uncomfortable, then you are pronouncing it wrong. That's the key. If it flows nicely from your mouth, then it is correct, right? So for example, here, if you say this is prakasham, then you'll have trouble, right? Is it what is this?
Prakashakam.
It is prakashakam, right? So when you say prakashakam,
Prakashakam.
yeah, then the meter is maintained, right? The length, right?
Okay.
Prakashakam anamayam, right? Like that. So you're going in that tune. So then follow this,
Prakashakam Anamayam
right? If then you say prakasham,
Suksangena Badnat.
yeah. If you say prakasham, then you have
Yeah,
guru, right? So then
fine. The
jnana,
word is missed.
yeah, jnana sangena chanaga. You see?
Correct.
Yeah. So you just
Thank you,
go with the
Mataji.
flow of the
That is why I was keen to, you see, read the
good.
chapter.
That's a good thing. We all live to be corrected.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, and I
Guru
really
Maharaj
appreciate that
says.
thing. And actually, for those of you watching this, watching me online for this last 1 year now, giving trouble to Varshana Mataji all the time, poking her, correcting her, saying you're wrong. Actually, I do that because she has requested me to do it to her. And I still
That's why we
remember
need Guru.
that 6-7 years
But
ago.
that applies to all of us, Shraddha Mataji. You cannot,
Yeah.
you
That's why we
cannot
need
be
Guru.
partial like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
come and ask. Tadvidi paripatena pariprashnurasheva. The student has to ask.
Oh my gosh, why does the student have to ask? The teacher has all the right.
Oh,
I
it's
still
the right
remember,
side.
8 years ago, Varshana Mataji used to read Sanskrit with a Punjabi accent. Remember that, Mataji? And then it was constant. One thing is good is that she doesn't take it to
Yes.
heart, right? If you tell her this is wrong and things like that, she has got that fluidity she has got around her, which means the false ego is diminishing. Right? A false ego makes us think I'm
Thank you.
something. I'm something like this. So she she does that. Yeah. So she listens, and that when you're willing, that willingness is there. When you're open utensil, then people can pour into it like that. That helps. Yeah. So there you go. Vaishika Babu says, go down in flame. So try that. So that's what you said. I'm going to try reading in Sanskrit, and this is just it's a learning session for all of us. So yeah, very good. Let's go next to who is coming up next. Text.
Oh, I think it's me.
Okay, then this one. Oh, sorry. Whatever you're comfortable, Meera Mataji. English are.
Okay, I'll read in English.
Okay.
Text 7. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. Text 8. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. Hare Krishna. Kethi Mataji.
Text 9. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness, conditions one to happiness, passion, conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance, covering one's knowledge, binds one to madness. Text 10. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance, O son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times, ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Text 11. Mataji, I was from Sanskrit. Yeah. Sarvatvareshu dehesmin prakasa upachayate jnanam yada tada vidya vibritam satam viteyuta Mataji, did I say it right?
Yeah, vivriddham sattvam ityuta. Yeah,
Vivid
vivriddham.
Vividham Sattva
Sattvam.
Iteyuta
Ityuta.
Ityuta.
Ityuta. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah.
Text
Beautiful.
12. Thank you, Varshana Mataji, for inspiring. Lobha pravrittir Lobha pravrittir aram
Arabha.
arambha karmana ashmaha spriha rajasya etani jayante vivirdhe bharata shrabha
Bharat Rishabha.
bharat rishabha
Bharat Rishabha. Right? Who is Bharat Rishabha?
chief of bharatas Arjun.
Arjun. There you go.
Thank you, Mataji.
I got inspiration too. Aparaksho pravattischa pramado moha eva cha tasmai etani jayanti vibridhe kuru nandana yasa sattve pravardhetu pralayam yati dehadbrit tadottama vidham lokan amalan pratipadyate.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna. Sukamra Mataji.
Thank you. Rajasi pralayam gatva karma sangishu jayate tatha pralinas tamasi murdayuni so jayate karmana sukrastasyahu satvikam nirmalam phalam rajasastu phalam dukham ajnanam tamasa phalam.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam rajaso lobha eva cha pramadamo tamaso bhavato jnanam eva cha. Text 18. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha madhye tishtanti rajasa jaghanye gunvriti sat जघन्ये गुणवृत्तिस्ता अधो गच्छन्ति तामसः. हरे कृष्ण. मीरा माताजी.
Okay. Does Namazya Mataji want to read? She's here.
I think she said no.
Oh, okay.
She
Sorry.
can't read.
Oh, okay. Text 19. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature.
So one of the
Text
things
20.
that Prabhu says about about when you find that there's a humongous task in front of you, then how do you get that done, right? For example, we look at this Sanskrit verse and we go like, okay, how do I can't, right? That's how the mind will say, tell that to you first. So you break it down into small pieces, and you just say that I'm going to do a very small piece today, and then do small daily increments, and then start incrementing it till you would have covered the whole piece of work, that whatever you're supposed to do, right? For example, Meera Mataji, let's look at this verse, right? This is all in Sanskrit, right? And we'll say, okay, Sanskrit is difficult for me. I don't know how to pronounce it, but what I'll do is I will just pick up any three lines from here, any three lines, and I will just recite the first word of those three lines, right? So let's try this one.
Nanyam.
There you go. Done.
Nayanam.
Nanyam was right. Nanyam was correct. And then what for this one?
Yada.
Yada. And you want to try this one first?
Madbhavam.
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 See, you already did three, right? So slowly, then tomorrow you do Nanyam, Yada, Madbhavam, then Gunebhya, Kartaram, like that, and then you will learn. So go slowly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. See, you are distributing so many Bhagavad Gitas, Meera Mataji. Bhagavad Gita will come to you. It's guaranteed. Right? Okay.
Text 20. Gunan etan atitya trin dehi deha samudbhavan janma mritya jara dukhaya vimukto mritam asnute.
Ashnute, right. And then when you have the R with a dot underneath it, it is pronounced as Ri, like Rishi. It's a Ri for
Oh,
Rishi.
mritam.
It's
Okay.
the Ri for Rishi. So Vimukto Mritam Ashnute. Right? Mrityu.
Ashnute.
Yeah, this will be Mrityu Jara Dukher. Janma Mrityu Jara Dukher. Vimukto Mritam Ashnute. Like that. Very good. See, you could do it. Very nice. Who's coming up next now after Meera Mataji?
It's me, Mataji. Text 21.
There you go.
Arjuna Vacha Kailingasrin Gunayetan Atito Bhavati Prabhavo Kim Acharya Katham Chaitams Tringunam Ativartate.
Very good.
Do I read the translation also, Mataji, or no translation?
No, we are just doing the, well, we always just do the translation from Bhagavad Gita. And today, because the last day that we're reading on special request from the group of devotees here, we are just doing the Sanskrit. And yeah.
Oh,
Okay, who's the lucky one?
okay. So,
It is
do I do the?
Mataji's turn.
Yeah. Sri Bhagavana Vacha. Mataji, bear with me, okay? Prakasam cha pravittim cha moham eva cha pandava na dvesti sampravrittani na nivrattani kanshati
Ankshati.
Kangshati Udasinavad asino gunanayo na vichalayate gunavartanta iti evam yovasistani nangate
Name the day.
samadukha sukha swat sata sama losama kanchana tulya priya priyo dhiras tulya nindama samstuti nindatma samstuti mana paramanaya sostu mana iska Mataji, how is the meter?
Man apamanayostulyas. Man apamanay.
Mana मानवमानस्य तुल्यो मित्रारि पक्षयो सर्वं परित्यागी सर्वा परित्यागी गुणातीत
Sarvarambha.
सर्वारंभ परित्यागी गुणातीता स उच्यते.
Right, good. Very nice to them there. Okay. This is a favorite famous verse. Who gets this?
My turn, Mataji. 26. Macha yo vyabicharena bhakti yogena sevate saguna sammatiyaitan brahma bhuya yakalpate.
Go for it.
Sammati yaitena tan. Right? Sammati yate.
Samatityatan. This is sama.
Sammati.
This is sama, and tit. Right? Samatit and ye, and then tan. Samatityetan. Sagunan samatityetan. Samatitya means transcends. Okay. Then you're giving us
Text 20.
27 also? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brahmano hi pratishtha pratisthaham amrita sev amritaya vyasya cha sa. Mataji, how do you say this?
Yeah, this is a tongue twister, a difficult one actually.
Yeah. Shashwatyasya cha dharme
Dhar,
dharmaya
dharmasya.
dharmasya sukhas yai kanti kasaya cha.
Okay, yeah. Sukhe, yes. Sukhe, yeah. Sukhasya kanti kasya cha. This one is a big tongue twister, you know. Brahmano hi pratisthaham. Then now this is, amritas yavya. Amritas, yeah, this is how you do it. Amritas, and then yavya, and then yasya cha. Amritas yavya yasya cha. Shashvatasya cha dharmasya. Sukhasya kanti kasya cha. It is a tongue twister.
Yeah, the entire verse is like that.
Brahmano hi pratisthaham. Yeah, this is about the effulgence, Brahman effulgence. So, Brahman effulgence is difficult to handle that. Devotees. You're welcome. Yeah. How do you feel? Should we all thank Vaishana Mataji for that?
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thanks, Mataji.
Mataji.
I usually
Thank you so much,
That's
Mataji.
good. We should do this one.
so
Every time we should.
Maybe every other day you should do, one day you should do English and one day
Every other day we should do.
okay. And chapter 16 is an easy chapter. It's not very long. I think 24 verses there. So yeah. And the verses there are easier verses. They are not tongue twisters there. 16 is easy.
oh, we are skipping 15 because we did it in the
Yeah.
yeah, during the
Adhik
Purushottam
Maas.
month.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Shruti Priya Mataji has joined. So Mataji, will you be able to read?
Yes,
But
I can read.
so I think
So
next would
I just wanted to mention that our dear, I wanted to have a few prayers, maybe 3 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra because of some, not very happy news that are there floating around and coming to our ears. And the first one is that my dear godbrother Jagannath Das Prabhu, he lost his mother yesterday, and then I lost my sister-in-law's brother yesterday, and our AS book distributor, Shri Krishna Purushottam Prabhu's brother, Sri Ram Das, who's also AS distributor in India, he is being diagnosed with COVID. So he's taking treatment and he's young. So we are very, very hopeful. But if we can do, maybe we should do 11 Hare Krishna Mantras. So what do you say? So,
Yes.
yeah, so you can that along with me and I will keep the count. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we submit these prayers to the Lord so that they can help the smooth passage of the dear departed souls and also take care of our dear Sri Ram Das Prabhu. and bring him back to normal health quickly so that he can come back to do book distribution with an even renewed vigor. Thank you for considering our request. Hare Krishna. All right. So, yeah. Reflections?
In India, Mataji, he's in somewhere in Pune or something.
Who?
Prabhuji's brother, who is suffering from
Sridham?
COVID.
Sridham Prabhu, I think he's used, I don't know where he's based because he's a book distributor. So he's always all over India. I think his base will be Andhra, though.
In Bangalore.
Bangalore? Is he in Bangalore? Okay. There you go. Yes, 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 yes. When Bashir Prabhu goes there. Yeah, I see him everywhere. I meet him usually in Mayapur. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just surprised that he was safe for. Oh, I should not be surprised because he's exposed a lot because of his book distribution seva that he does. He gets exposed to a lot of people, and although he puts on a mask, but others around him don't necessarily. So again, it's a time for us to remember that the COVID has not died down. COVID has not become dilute. Nothing has changed, right? Other than the fact that we have gotten bored of it and we think that we are safe, but that is not how it is. Um, and so continue to take utmost precautions, right? We got this human body
Yes.
using this in the service of the Lord, so we need to preserve it, right? If not for any other reason. Okay. Then,
Thank you.
okay. What else? Bye. No reflections today?
Mataji, can you explain the second text, Mataji?
So there's beauty in reading it in English and there's beauty in reading it in Sanskrit also, because if you just read it in Sanskrit, you won't be able to reflect because you don't think in Sanskrit.
Yeah.
See? So that is why every other day we have to do, English.
I was about to say that, and then we recognize like some words, like how we read it in the English translation, so we can say, oh, I can recognize this word.
All right. So I will ask the class, what do they understand from this particular verse? And I'm bringing that verse here on a screen close to you. Let me know when you're able to see it.
Oh, this is the one I had asked you about, not born at the time of creation.
Yeah.
So you want to repeat?
So it's like we are not the body, we are the soul. So the soul never is born and it never dies. So if we attain that transcendental position, then we do not need to be born, or we do not need to die.
Yes. Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, 100% correct, right? And so when the world is being created or when the world is destroyed, you won't be there, number one, because you have become a liberated soul. You have transcended the modes of material nature. And if at all, you have to come here. If at all you have to come here on a special project like Srila Prabhupada, then although others might look at from outside and see that he's being born, but from inside they know what's happening, right? So they never identify with their bodies from inside. And so others might say he's born and he died, but for them they're on a different plane, totally different plane of consciousness, just much, much higher. Like that. Does that help, Vindhyavali Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. But this one I could understand. One can attain to the transcendental nature like my own.
Yeah, because Krishna is all transcendental, right? He's talking about nature. He's talking about nature. He's not talking about you will become me. He's just saying in quality you will become like me.
Yes, Mataji, got it.
Right. And actually there is no such thing as attaining, because you're already that. Right? You're already there. But because of the false ego, then you have to re-attain it. You have to re-attain it. Like that. Okay, so what should we do now? Should we go to Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We will go there. And so we had just barely touched one of the very important verses, which was text number 9. So we're going to go into it again. And whoever has the turn to read will read it to us. Do we know?
Shruti Priya Mataji joined. She can read.
All right. Yes, she was ready to read.
And then Vidyavali Mataji.
Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.9 Uttaro Uvacha Uttaro Vacha Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate Nanyam Tvad Abhyam Pasye Yatra Murtyo Parasparam.
Who's next?
Myself, Mataji.
All right. Go ahead.
Translation. You want me translation or synonyms?
Synonyms.
Uttara Vacha. Uttara said, Pahi Pahi, protect, Mahayogin, the great mystic, Deva Deva, the worshipable of the worshipped, Jagatpati, O Lord of the universe, not, Anyam, anyone else, Tvat, thank that, then you, Abhayam, fearlessness, Pasya, do I see, Yatra, where there is, Mrityu, death, Parasparam, in the world of duality. Krishna. Sukamana Mataji.
Thank you. Translation. Uttara said, O Lord of Lords, Lord of the universe, you are the greatest of mystics. Please protect me, for there is no one else who can save me from the clutches of death in this world of duality. Vashana Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. This material world is the world of duality. In contrast with the oneness of the absolute dream, the world of duality is composed of matter and spirit, whereas the absolute world is complete spirit without any tinge of material qualities. The world of duality is composed of matter and spirit, whereas the absolute world is complete spirit without any tinge of material qualities. In the dual world, anyone is falsely trying to become the master of the world, whereas in the absolute world, the Lord is the absolute Lord, and all others are his absolute servitors. In the world of duality, everyone is envious of all others, and death is inevitable due to the dual existence of matter and spirit. The Lord is the only shelter of fearlessness for the surrendered soul. One cannot save himself from the cruel hands of death in the material world without having surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Dandavat Pranam.
Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Okay, so let's take some reflections here.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, I really like the point. You see, the world of duality is composed of matter and spirit, whereas the absolute world is complete spirit without any tinge of material qualities. So I really like the comparison here, very clearly given difference between this bhautic world and um, and the spiritual world. So I really like this point, Mataji. Material and the spiritual world.
Spiritual world. Yeah.
So we can understand that, I mean, we have the duality. There is a difference between the two. So there is a difference between the Lord and we, his servitors, I mean, so we, his children. There is a difference. There are same gunas, but we have, like you say, a drop of ocean and the ocean. He's the ocean and we are just a drop of ocean.
So what would have happened if there was no duality in this material world? What would have disappeared because of that? If
All
there
the
was
variation.
Materialism.
All variegation.
Material.
The variegation would have gone away. Okay.
Sorry, Mataji, what did you
Self.
say?
You said the all the variegation will go away, the variety will go away, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
We
What
would
else?
not,
Huh?
we would not be enjoying for our own self. We'll be,
Exactly. The biggest thing that will go away will be the happiness and the sorrow. That's the dual. Dual means two. There's always
Yeah.
two of everything. There's hot and then there is cold. So if the duality goes away, then there is no suffering or enjoyment also in this world of duality, right? If you remove that duality. So through that duality only and through that distinction and through that variegatedness which Khyati Mataji brought out, this variegatedness is also very important. And the reason for that is that you remember why this material world has been created? It has been created because we are rebellious souls. We did not want to, serve Krishna in Golok Vrindavan, and we wanted to enjoy ourselves independently of him. So then Lord says, okay, and we also wanted to control. We were like, why does Krishna control? We want to control. So then this whole playground has been created for us so that we can try to enjoy and then try to control and then know our limitations and then realize that and then call out to Krishna and go back to Godhead. Now, he could have created a universe for each and every soul to enjoy. But some of the enjoyment comes from comparison, right? I'm more beautiful than that person. I'm more intelligent than that person. I'm more rich than that person, right? Like that. So that enjoyment is coming from contrast. And so Krishna has created all these contrasts over here in this world so that you can enjoy or at least seem to enjoy through all these contrasts which are there. Good. And then here he says, and in the dual world, everyone is falsely trying to become the master of the world, wherein the absolute world, the Lord is the absolute Lord and others are his absolute servitors. Absolute servitors mean that there is no tinge. There's no tinge, there's no trace at all of the fact that, okay, I'm like, we work at our jobs or we serve in our families and things like that. And so there's not 100%, that I'm a servitor, so I should do everything that my boss wants me to do, or I should do everything my husband wants me to do, or my wife wants me to do, or my parents want me to do. There's that rebellious streak is still there in us, right? We might do everything, but and there'll be likes and dislikes, like I've made the food, why is he not coming to eat, and usual complaints which are there. But in the absolute world, the service is also absolute. They're just serving Krishna. It doesn't matter whether he eats it or not eats it, whether you brought the food and you spend hours cooking it and he doesn't eat it, like that. So it is completely surrendered to Krishna, whatever he wants to do, and whatever he did is the right thing that he did, right? He didn't eat what I offered, and that is fine. I'm good for that, like that. So that is there. And so what else do you see in Uttara's behavior here in this verse? When I'm going to bring up the verse again.
In the most difficult situation, she's remembering the truth of life, which is filled with duality, and then whom to approach
Yeah.
in that, and to recognize him as everyone, because we go to like so many people, but knowing that the one who can solve our problem and just telling them not how to solve the problem, but I'm surrendered to you and do what you wish to do, is
Right.
something that
Right.
Very nice. Very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So please protect me, protect me, protect me. And what is the word that says protection? Sanskrit word for protection?
No one else he can save me. That's what she says. Surrendering.
Pahi, pahi.
Pahi, pahi. Correct, for 25 points. Yeah. Pahi, pahi is the word for protect, protect. So she's looking for pahi mom, pahi mom. That's what we sing, right? We cry out that Krishna, protect me. I'm in this miserable place, right? So, and then as you rightly pointed out that even in such a extreme of situation, she reached out to Krishna. And who else reached out to Krishna? Do you remember?
properly.
Draupadi, yes. And then in the context of Srimad Bhagavatam, who else reached out pretty recently in these happenings that are happening in these chapters?
Kunti Mata.
No, in this chapter.
Prahlad?
Kunti will do later. It is the prayers of Kunti. The chapter is prayers Kunti, but it hasn't happened. Prahlad comes much later in the later chapter, canto, Mataji. In the first canto, and the chapters that we have been reading as part of our Srimad Bhagavatam reading, there was somebody else who approached Krishna for protection.
Bhishma Dev.
No.
No. Krishna Dev was, yeah. Who else? There was a Brahma. There was a Brahma. There was a Brahmas coming at somebody.
Dronacharya. Ashwadhama, I'm sorry.
Ashwatthama took shelter of Krishna?
No, he had.
Because he didn't know how to withdraw the. There were like 2 Brahmastras, so he realized his mistake, and he reached out to Krishna for help.
Who realized his mistake?
Arjuna.
Arjuna Mataji.
So Arjuna what? Arjuna did not know what?
No, he knew how to withdraw his Brahmastra, but he knew that Ashwatthama cannot retract it, right?
Yeah, that's the fact, right? So Ashwatthama had unleashed a Brahmas toward Arjuna, and Arjuna looked at Krishna and he said, I don't know from where all this effulgence is coming, right? And if you go back to that chapter, which is chapter 7, the one that we concluded a few verses ago, and then when he's talking about it's a very fantastic way in which he unleashes the Brahmas, and then thereupon a glaring light spread in all directions. It was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life was in danger. So he began to address Lord Krishna. Arjuna said, "Oh my Lord Krishna, you are an almighty personality of Godhead. There's no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone is in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation only in you. You are the original personality of Godhead who expands himself all over the creation and is transcendental to material energy. You have cast away the effects of material energy by dint of your spiritual potency. You're always situated in eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge. And yet, though you are beyond the purview of the material energy, you execute the 4 principles of liberation characterized by the religion and so on for the ultimate good of the conditioned soul. Thus you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you." 4 verses, just glorifying Krishna. And there's
it was Arjuna, right?
Yeah. Arjuna said.
Yeah.
Right? So look at that. Look at the way he's approaching Krishna. He's not saying, "Hey, Krishna, come help me. I'm about to die. Come on, quick, man. Get your act together." No, this is the way to approach the Lord, right? He's glorifying. This is the way we pray. We first glorify. And then now he's saying, "Oh Lord of Lords, how is it that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Where does it come from? I do not understand it." Right? And then Supreme Personality of Godhead, talks to him further like that. So that's the way. So then there is some danger out there. Then Arjuna approaches. Uttara is pregnant, and she sees this thing coming at her, and she knows it's going to hurt the embryo in her womb, which will be covered in the next verse. But right now, see here, "O Lord of Lords, Lord of the universe," right? "You are the greatest of all mystics." Still the glorification. First clauses are on glorifying him. And then later on she's saying, "Please protect me. Please protect me." And then, "For there is no one else who can save me, who can protect me." So completely surrendered to Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, there's a verse which says, "Ye yatha mam prapandyante tam sathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashaha." So very, very important verse where he says that according to the degree of surrender that you have for Krishna, in that proportion, Krishna will help you. So both Arjuna and Uttara have said that nobody can help other than you. So they are completely surrendered to Krishna, like, that's it. I'm here. These fiery things are after me. These nuclear weapons are after me. And please protect me. So this is something very important. And something also important to keep in mind is that the Srimad Bhagavatam actually talks about that, whenever you have a scripture, there are certain topics that are discussed. There are certain topics that are discussed. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are certain topics, that are discussed there. And let me just bring up, there are 10 topics that are there, and they comes right in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the second canto, 10th chapter, which is the last chapter of that canto, it says, yes, Shukdev Goswami is talking here. So Shri Shuk Uvacha Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanamutaya Manvantara Ishanu Katha. Let me just bring it up for you. Nirodho Muktirashrayaha. So now let's see what does it say, and who's next in line to read?
Varshana Mataji, I think.
Okay.
I think Meera Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Shri Shukdev Goswami said, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 10 divisions of statements regarding the following: the creation of the universe, sub-creation, plenary system, protection by the Lord, the creation impetus, the change of Manus, the science of God, returning home, back to Godhead, liberation, and the Samambhavan.
Amambunam. So here it talks about protection by the Lord. So protection by the Lord is one of the topics that is covered in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it won't be that
Bhagavatam.
chapter dedicated to like protection by the Lord, but through various stories and situations and conversations, you will come to know about how Lord protects things in very different ways. And sometimes, people sometimes say that, he has to protect himself from himself. Have you ever heard that people say? He has to protect himself.
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. I realize myself for my own self. You see, many a times, Mataji, I have my own mind troubles me. So I have to protect myself from my mind.
Yeah, everybody does. Everybody has got this little
Rather
enemy.
than anybody else. I mean,
Yeah,
how the other person is saying his or her way of saying may be different, but his aim may be different, and he may be thinking something else. But my mind, you see, starts giving the judgment. So that is the problem. So I have to take care of my mind first, and then, you see, think of what the other person has said.
exactly. And that is why we say that devotional service is all about introspection. You have to look
Yes.
inside and see what's going inside, what's going inside us. And so sometimes Krishna will do everything for the best. He's absolute. Whatever he does is for the good. For example, he took Maharaj Bali, and then put his foot on his head, and then pushed him all the way down to Patal Loka, right? And took away all his opulence, right, which he had snatched away from the demigods. Why? Two things. One is that the Lord always protects the demigods. Why? Because they are his devotees. So if their stuff got taken away by somebody else, he had to give it back, even if he had to come like a cheater and cheat Bali Maharaj out of it. He did that. And the second thing is that he pushed Bali Maharaj down there into the lower planetary systems where there is no godliness, but then he decided to stay there with him. And so Bali Maharaj is there now with the Lord. And then in his next life, he's going to become Indra in his next life. So that's how it goes. So, so, so he protected him in that way. He protected by one act. He protected both the sides, right? He protected the demons and as well as the demon Bali Maharaj, and then also um, the demigods, right? Indra, like that. And so many times you will see. And on the other hand, so he gave what Indra had, and he gave it back to him, his kingdom. He protected him that way. And then he took away everything from Bali Maharaj, and he protected him that way, right? Similarly to Sudama, he gave everything to Sudama and protected him that way. So why did he protect Sudama that way? Because Sudama was getting very puffed up by the fact that, I can live in such poverty and I'm away from this. And that was becoming a pride for him. And when you start reading 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we will see that pride is actually a quality of the demons. Pride is not a quality of the devotees. So he didn't want his disciple to get his devotee to get that, into that realm of where you are very proud. So he shattered his pride by giving him all the money. So now, yeah, I used to be very proud that I'm poor. No, okay, now you become the rich, the rich guy, like that, you know. And there's so many instances that you will see in Srimad Bhagavatam as we read, where the Lord is protecting again and again. So I'm just looking at the watch over here. It's 8 o'clock.
I know you have to go, Shraddha Mataji. You have a minute for one reflection, one confusing thing I have about today's verse
Yes,
or
yes,
next time.
no problem. What is
So
this verse?
the last sentence says that one cannot save himself from the cruel hands of death in the material world without having surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord. So what is confusing is that is the reverse true? Like if you surrender yourself to the lotus feet of the Lord, you cannot still get saved from the cruel hands of death.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, how do you view it? And Prabhupada gives a very fantastic example. He says that death comes in the form of the mouth of a cat. And it depends on who you are, whether you are a kitten or whether you are a rat. Both the kitten and the rat are in the mouth of the cat. The rat is scared of death, right? Death is coming. Those are the non-believers. And Krishna can come, Mrityu haras chaham. He says, I'm death, right? So, and then a devotee of the Lord actually sometimes longs for death. Why? Because he's missing Krishna. When death is coming, Krishna, he's saying, that's fine. He just, utkramantam siddham vapi. I'm just leaving this body and I'm going somewhere else, right? So when devotees die, the grieving that happens is not on behalf of the devotee. They are at a different plane. They understand. The grieving happens for those who are left behind. And then those who are left behind, when their consciousness rises, then they start looking at the same thing in a different light. And then they also get liberated from this concept of birth and death, right? They will look at it in a different way, because that is known as chakshur unmilitam yena. My eyes are opened. My eyes are open. This is what the opening happens, like that, right? So Krishna is so merciful that he raises you to that standard. He raises you to that height, that from that height, these things do not matter to you. Now you start looking at it and you might just say, all right, this is just a happenstance. Because like when devotees usually start doing devotional service, the neophytes, they will come and they'll say, you know what, my mind said that, you know what, this thing happened, you know what, this envious thought came into my mind, and this happened, that happened, and they feel very bad that I'm a devotee. Why did this thought come to me? Why did I think this thought, right? But as they raise, their consciousness raises and the understanding also raises, they become the observer. They're saying, okay, here's a body, grass, and here's a body, subtle inside it, and they are interacting. The modes of material nature are playing, and this is mind generation, a factory of thoughts. So it generated good thought, bad thought, that's all it is generating. That's all. I'm just looking at it. You can, I'm not going to act on those thoughts. So it's a position of liberation. It's a position of freedom. My mind doesn't control me any longer. I control the mind, right? Like that. So that's why again and again we keep on saying that we have to raise ourselves to that higher level and keep on going to the 15th floor, goodness, and then transcendental, the penthouse of the big building. And we do that. It's a practice and can't be done alone. It's difficult to do alone. That's why we need association of devotees.
Thank you, Shraddha Mataji.
Yeah, you're welcome. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha gopremanande hari hari bol. And just wanted to mention that
Thank you so much.
Ekadashi on this side of the world in California is tomorrow. There was some confusion and
Yeah.
like that. And also wanted to thank all the dear devotees who are watching us on Facebook. I already read the names in the beginning, and now we are also joined by Vijay Lakshmi Nair Mataji, and Archana Mataji is there watching us, and Neelam Sharma Mataji is also there. Anshika Bedi is there, and of course Vidyavadu Devi Mataji is also there here. Fantastic. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Mataji.
Tomorrow we'll
Tomorrow.
meet at
Wonderful class.
six. Welcome.
Great.
Wonderful questions, Sukomal Mataji, you asked, and you
Oh,
clarified my doubt also. Thank you so much.
There
Hare
you go.
Krishna.
Fantastic.